have an administrative action that we need to take. I've been told that House Bill 2105, Delegate Byron, needs to be referred to the Committee on Finance. Is there a motion? There's a motion and a second to refer House Bill 2105 to the Committee on Finance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, that is referred to Finance. We're going to take things maybe a little bit out of order. Delegate Lemunion, can you give your report out of order?
Mr. Chairman.
And just so you know, so Delegate Robinson tells me that House Bill 1678 that we took by for the day, the other day, she would like to go by for the day again. You may know that already. But
That's correct. Do you need a motion to that effect?
all right.
So moved.
All right, there's a motion, a second, that House Bill 1678 go by for the cheater. Go by for the day. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. All right, that's by for the day. Delegate Lemunion.
I think that's all that's on my report.
Ah, well, that is certainly efficient. Delegate Knight, can you give your report? Subcommittee.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Subcommittee number 3. First bill we had before us is House Bill 1744, Delegate Rush. It was talking about at food concessions, such as stadiums and amphitheaters, you were allowed to have plastic containers for beer, and this allows for them to sell it in the original beer can. So we recommended reporting 6-0, and I so moved.
All right, any discussion on 1744? Hearing none, please cast your vote. All right, close the roll. That bill reports. Delegate Knight.
Next bill was House Bill 1801. I was the patron.
Economics. Sorry, Delegate.
Yes. House Bill 1801. I was the patron. It has 2 amendments, and I'd move the amendments.
All right, so the amendments are in your packet. The motion is to adopt the subcommittee amendments on House Bill 1801. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, those amendments are adopted. Delegate Knight.
Yes, sir. This bill, what it does is if you call a grocery store and say that you would like to pick up your groceries in a designated parking spot, you go to the parking spot, and the law is today they can bring your groceries to you, but if you ordered beer or wine, then you have to go in the store to pick up your beer or wine. This allows them to deliver the beer and wine into a designated parking space that you're parked at. The irony of it is if you call and it's your house, they can deliver directly to your house beer and wine, but they can't deliver it on their premises. So this bill was recommended reporting 5-1, and I so moved.
All right, and I assume they're subject to the same ID requirements and all of that they would be.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, if they were in a store. All right, any questions for the delegate? Anybody wish to be heard on that? Hearing none, please cast your vote. All right, close the roll. That bill reports. Delegate Knight.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Next bill is House Bill 1842. I was the patron of this. This is the same bill that we saw and approved the House and the Senate last year. The governor vetoed the bill, and we've got it worked out. What it is it allows our ABC stores to sell 151 neutral grain spirits. The state already sells 7 or 8 spirits that are 151 proof or greater. We're the only state other than Vermont in America that now doesn't have permission to do it. The only thing that was raised last year was there were some college groups that wanted to have a discussion about it. We had a discussion with the college groups, people from ABC, Secretary Hazel, Secretary of Education, Secretary Moran, and we agreed that if I would put a sunset clause on here, that they would not object to the bill. So this bill now has a sunset clause on it. It was recommended reporting 6-0, and I so moved.
All right, is there a second? Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. All right, close the roll. That bill reports. Delegate Knight.
Next is House Bill 2078, Delegate Wilt. It has an amendment, and I move the amendment.
All right, all those in favor of adopting the subcommittee amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, delegate, that is adopted. Delegate Knight.
This is, it authorizes the ABC Board to grant an annual mixed beverage performance arts facility license to people operating food concessions at any performing arts facility located in Harrisonburg. And it has to have certain historic qualifications and other criteria, such as in excess of 900 patrons. And this bill was thoroughly vetted in the subcommittee. It was recommended reporting 6-0, and I so moved.
Maria. I'm lucky that I got to be here to watch this little Christmas tree get planted. And now we're just watering it and putting little ornaments on it. It's gonna be so sweet by the time it's done. Is there a way we can do this without having to every year have 1 or 2 or 3? Did you start this? Weren't you the one that didn't want to have any?
Since you asked me, I'm the one who's always been against it. We have a bill, we passed at a subcommittee, but we didn't put it on the docket today, which will create, is my bill, which will create one criteria,
All right,
so that people can know what they're allowed to do and not allowed to do.
so you have the magic fix to this to chop down this.
I'm hoping it will be magic.
All right. Okay, but he has the idea to not have to do this anymore. All right, there's a motion to report House Bill 2078. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Peace. All right, close the roll. All right, that bill reports. Delegate Knight.
Next is House Bill 2185. Delegate Yost is a patron. It has 2 amendments. I'll move the amendments.
All those in favor of adopting the subcommittee amendments, say aye. Those opposed, those amendments are adopted. Delegate Knight.
This allows ABC Control Board to issue a mixed beverage license to an establishment at a certain location. He had 2 locations. One of the amendments stripped one of the locations off. We only allowed 1 location with certain criteria. This is what we always see with the Christmas tree in a dry county, where it's for economic development purposes. So we recommend reporting 4-2, and I'll so move.
All right, there's a motion, second, Delegate Yost. What's the spot? What are we putting in down there?
Meadows Country Club.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. I'm just dragging these out today for dramatic effect. I don't know why. Please close the roll. That bill reports. If the new system doesn't catch your vote for some reason, just check in with the clerk. I think the clerk can change your vote. That bill reports. Delegate Knight.
Yes, sir, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Delegate. Subcommittee number 1, Delegate Peace.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, appreciate it. Right, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. House Bill 1554, patroned by Delegate Bulova, was recommended to report with 1 amendment 7-0. I move the amendment, and I'll explain the bill as amended.
Second.
All right, all those in favor of adopting the amendment, say aye. Those opposed, that amendment's adopted. Delegate Peace.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. In 2013, there was a lawsuit filed, and the decision was rendered last year Vardick versus Powhatan Village Homeowners Association, Inc. This bill comes as a result of that decision of the Virginia Supreme Court. The bill, in a nutshell, does three things regarding the Property Owners Association Act. It clarifies that the act only applies if the recorded governing documents are silent. Essentially, it provides gap filler terms. It clarifies the amendment cannot be challenged 1 year after the amendment is recorded. And it confirms the validity of all amendments made prior to the effective date of the bill. There was some question about whether certain amendments were adopted according to document-based requirements, thereby creating significant uncertainty in the recorded governing documents and land records, among other issues. It was supported by the Community Associations Institute, Virginia Association of Realtors. I don't believe there was any opposition to the legislation, and on behalf of the subcommittee, I move that we report the bill as amended.
Second.
All right, there's a motion to report, properly seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your votes. All right, close the roll. That bill reports. Delegate, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, House Bill 1623, Delegate Yancey, was also recommended to report unanimously with one amendment. I move the amendment and will explain the bill.
All those in favor of adopting the amendment say aye. Aye. Those opposed, that amendment's adopted. Delegate, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. House Bill 1623 deals with two things: transfers of security deposits upon the sale of dwelling units, allowing property managers to transfer security deposits to the owner and simply provide notice to the tenants as an alternative to having to obtain written consent of the owner and tenants. And the amendments that you have adopted by recommendation of the subcommittee are in the packet, and I think fairly self-explanatory if you read the paragraph where if there is an effect at the date of the foreclosure sale, a tenant in the residential dwelling unit foreclosed upon, foreclosure shall act as a termination of the rental agreement, and then the tenant may remain in possession going forward on a month-to-month tenancy like common law. Mr. Chairman, there's no opposition to this legislation. I move that we report the bill as amended.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Close the roll. That bill reports. Delegate, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. House Bill 2006 was patroned by Delegate Carr and recommended to report unanimously. This bill came to session as a recommendation of the Virginia Housing Commission, and I believe was on a 11 or 12, some very high number of versions from where it started in the Housing Commission, but it was a bill that represented consensus among the stakeholders and is a response to a growing issue that managers of multifamily properties are seeing, where individuals come with particular disabilities and they represent that they have a note from a doctor that allows them to have a companion animal, and that then gets them that accompaniment and waiving of the fees that would otherwise be associated with it. So this bill sets out that there should be a relationship between that patient and the provider that would be issuing that, among other things. There's no opposition to the legislation, and it is in conformity with other fair housing considerations with federal law. I move that we report the bill.
There's a motion and a second to report. Any other discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. All right, close the roll. That bill reports. Delegate, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. House Bill 2034, patroned by Delegate Jackson Miller, was recommended to report unanimously by the subcommittee. It does several things regarding residential disclosure acts, renaming the red flag disclosure statement buyer beware statement. It adds the following buyer beware statements. 1, the owner makes no representations with respect to underlying conservation or other easements, and 2, makes no representations with respect to underlying community development authorities. Also allows for electronic delivery of the forms of potential purchasers and has several little cleanup items regarding the Residential Disclosure Act. Numerous technical amendments. It's a recommendation of the subcommittee to report unanimously, and I so move.
No amendments? All right. Okay. There's a motion to report. Second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Your Delegate Hodges, are you? Just trying to keep the train. All right. Close the roll. Bill reports, Delegate Pease.
And Mr. Chairman, there was one more bill that we need to take action on. Delegate Lindsay, by patron's request, was to strike House Bill 1670, which was the recommendation of the subcommittee. I believe we need to take action on that, and the whole committee as well, and I move that the patron be allowed to strike House Bill 1670.
Second. All those in favor of striking House Bill 1670, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right. Do any other subcommittee chairman have any other reports to give? I don't think so. All right. So subcommittee 4 is going to meet immediately. Let's say in 2 minutes they're going to start because they need to get going. So more or less immediately upon adjournment, subcommittee 4 is going to meet in this room, and then I believe they have a pretty healthy docket or agenda. So I think we're going to have to say subcommittee 2, Delegate Lemunian, in 2 hours, 4 o'clock. Okay. So subcommittee 4 right now, subcommittee 2, 4 o'clock, this room, and we are adjourned.